Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? I would want us to react some way if you can hear me properly. Probably type on the chat box that you can hear me. Uh, yeah, I would love to get any reaction. I hope the life is good. You could chat in the chat, send a message in the chat box. Let's see if that works. Can you hear me properly? Can anyone hear me? Ah, right. So, oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm getting some reactions now. I think the problem is the live is about 5 to 10 seconds ahead. So I guess when I try to wait for reactions, I'll have to wait for some seconds to get those reactions. Anyways, welcome everyone to our live, where we'll be learning a lot about using AI to build websites. Right? It's going to be a beautiful time here with us on this call, probably about 1 hour, and I'm really excited about this. My name is Gabriel Emmanuel. I'm the director at Skillforce, and we figured the year is coming to an end. Right, we're going into a new year. We have plans for ourselves. We have goals that we've set for ourselves, and what some of those goals would entail, we do not know yet. But at the end of the day, we want to try to put steps in place for us to attain some of those goals, right? And in the tech field, we've noticed that the year 2025 was filled with artificial intelligence and um, device learning and stuff like that, right? And we know that 2026 is going to be that year where everyone will be talking about AI, everyone will be doing something with AI, not just in the tech field, but everywhere, right? So it's going to be interesting what happens in the year 2026. But before we jump right in, I know it's very exciting. Before we jump right in, I want us to just take a brief moment, maybe 2 minutes, to talk about skill thoughts, what skill thought is, and what it brings for you, right? Or brings to you, right? Skillforce. This is our website. If you go to skillforce.org, you get to see our website. It's a tech education and innovation hub, and it's kind of broken down into um, four main branches, right? We have the tech school, which some of you are very familiar with. We have corporate training, where we deliver training to corporates. IT services, we build websites and help build solutions for companies and private individuals who are interested in those services. And then the innovation hub, where we innovate and try to create new solutions within the company. Some of those solutions are either created by our interns or um, by our team members as well. Just trying to come up with new things. And for the year 2020, trying to um, come up with much more exciting things, especially using AI, since basically we're entering the year of AI, artificial intelligence. For the tech school, which I am going to focus on for the year 2026, we have our four courses that we're focusing on. If we go to the services and tech school and scroll down a bit, you see about four courses that we're focusing on. We have the front end development, we have .NET development, we have data analyst, as well as cloud computing. Those are the four courses that we're focusing on for the year. We're going to be bringing down some of these other courses, anyways. But yeah, so it's quite easy to register for a tech school. All you need to do is just follow the steps, and you can make payments on the platform, right? So pretty easy. Like I said, it's just going to be about 2 minutes to talk about that. So we're done. Now we're going to jump right in and talk about what we want to talk about for today. How we can build websites using AI. That's really interesting. A lot of persons. I remember when I was learning. I have about 8 years of experience building websites and software solutions. Right. So I remember when I was learning to code, use websites or platforms to read, use videos to learn. But today it's quite easy, right? With platforms like Gemini, platforms like ChatGPT, Claude, DeepSeek, you can learn to build websites so fast. Basically, sometimes you can build a full blown platform in about an hour, right? Or maybe less, depending on how knowledgeable you are about the stuff that you're building, right? So, what we want to do on this call is we want to build up a solution from scratch and see if we can deploy that solution for everyone on the call to, access that solution. It's not going to be something in depth. We're not just going to have all of the different parts of the website up in throughout this call, but we're going to have basically what is needed for a functional website to be available for your clients or your customers, right? So for this to happen, there are some steps that we need to put in place. One of the first steps is to select the niche or the problem that you're trying to find a solution for, right? Selecting the niche of the problem. So basically, what does that mean? It means that you're trying to build a website, right? Or you have a client that's coming to you to build a website and they want to build something, but you're trying to think about it. What should we build? What should we build? Right? What's the problem that website is trying to solve? Every website that you build out there trying to solve one problem or the other, right? Right now you're watching on YouTube. The problem is accessibility. I want to access you. I want to give you content, right? For me to be able to give you that content, I need to access you through a platform. And that's what YouTube is solving for us today, right? Another problem could be an e-commerce platform, right? You want to sell products. Who are going to access those products? How are they going to access those products? That's another problem or the niche, right? So what I want us to do for us to be engaged in this, I would wait for another couple of seconds. Um, I want to figure out, let's see, what problems we feel on the call that we should solve right here on the call, right? So let's figure out, let's see if we can build something from what you guys hoping to build, right? So you could drop in the chat box something that you're interested in building, what niche that product is in, and what problems that product is facing, right? Um, just anything, just about anything, right? We do not have to build the whole platform end to end today, but we can build it to a particular extent where it's accessible and functional, right? So let's drop in the chat box anything that you think we can build up, and we'll see if we can build it. So I would wait for another 5 to 10 seconds for that to happen. Anything at all. Anybody can just drop anything. Or I guess maybe we can use AI. Let's see. Maybe we can use AI. Okay. So let's see. Using AI, what do we do? All right, awesome. So I want to create a solution to problems in Nigeria. List 10 problems I can quickly solve using tech uh, in Nigeria. So let's see. Let's see what AI is giving to us as an option. All right, awesome. So we have like post-harvest food wastage, agri-tech. We have poor financial record keeping for SMEs. This is interesting. Um, we have inefficient electricity utility management. Oh, this is also interesting. rural areas, rural access to primary health care, fragmented last mile logistics, small e-commerce sellers struggle to find reliable, affordable delivery riders. And I think I know a few persons who are trying to fix this. Find verified plumber. This is also an interesting one. Vocational skill gap. A micro learning platform offering short, high quality video courses. Another interesting one. Urban waste collection tracking. An on demand waste management app. Residents can request a pickup. Another interesting one. So you see that like a number of things that we can look into. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick one of them, then show you how I would build this if I were to build this. All right. So this is a B2B digital marketplace web app that connects farmers directly to retailers or dark stores. Right. All right. So this is what I would want. Let me just work with. Let me see. Mobile first bookkeeping app like your localized QuickBooks that tracks sales, provides credit scores based on transaction history. All right, so let me just do the first one, right? So what I'll do is, if I want to build this, what I'll do is now I have figured out what the niche is and what the problem is. So we have the problem and we have the niche. The niche would be agri-tech, right? So what's the next step? We have to build UI design using anti-gravity or other platforms that help with UI designs, right? I hope we're still following. If we're still following, I would love comments in the chat box to know that we're following. I would love to see comments in the chat box to know that we're following. All right. I would love comments in the chat box to know that we're following. I have about 16 persons on the call. So at least, oh yeah, I can see comments coming in now. All right, awesome. All right. So the next step I would take is to get what is called a product requirement document. Before I build my UI, I'll get what is called a product requirement document, PRD. Let's just get one now. So I'm going to use the same page. What I'm going to do is for solution one, creates a PRD that gives total detail for this. Um, I'm going to call it SaaS. SaaS is called is short for software as a service. Software as a service, right? For this SaaS solution. So a software as a service is a software that you can give out to people so that they can use it as a service for them, right? Examples of software as a service is YouTube, um, Microsoft Word, Corel Draw, Adobe Photoshop, Facebook. These are softwares that you give out as a service, right? So we want to create a product requirement document for. You see, it's even suggested a name for us. Suggested farm flow. I'm going to um, increase the font of this guy. So it suggested farm flow and gave us a version, status of draft, and date. Now it gave us a summary. Farm flow is a tech-enabled supply chain solution that solves the $10 billion annual post-harvest loss problem in Nigeria. Now, imagine this price, $10 billion. If you're able to solve this problem, you're likely going to be creating a software that is worth $10 billion, right? Now, the problem statement is what's the problem? Wastage. About 40 to 50% of perishable produce rots due to lack of immediate buyers or poor storage. Then, fragmented supply chain, too many middlemen. There's aggregators, there's transporters, there's wholesalers who inflate the prices while farmers earn less, right? Basically, if you go to the north, you see that farmers would sell probably tomatoes for as little as 1,000 naira or less. But when it comes to Lagos, you see about 30 something thousand naira because of all the middlemen. So if you're able to break that, You give the farmers more money, you earn more money. The same thing is being done by Bolt, Uber, and all of that, right? So now they are like the middlemen where the drivers get their money, they get their cut. Now, logistics gap, no real time visibility into where produce is or its condition, right? Now, I'm not going to read all of this. This is just a document to show you about the product. So, what I'm going to do to get UI is I'm going to show you two places, right? So, I'm going to copy this product requirement document, everything. Um, then I'm going to go to a software called boat.new. It says, what will you build today, right? I'm going to paste that and tell boat create. I'll explain what boot.new does in a bit. Create a um, create we'll call it an Angular app for this PRD. Okay. Then I'll say build now. Oh, it wants me to sign in. No, I'm not signing in. So, but then what happens is boot.new takes your product requirement document and builds a new app for you, right? It creates the content, creates the design, and all of those beautiful stuff. Builds a new app for you. So I'm not going to be signing in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the one I use mostly. I use an app called Anti Gravity. Yeah, this is the app. It's called Anti-Gravity. It's a code editor that's in use, that was created by Google. It's connected to a number of AI models, as you can see. We have Gemini 3, we have Claude Sonnet, and you can also add other models, if you have a paid plan. But I think I'm good with Gemini. So what I'm going to do is I am going to create of solution, a folder where I'm going to work from. Uh, so I'm going to call this, I'm going to create a new file and I'm going to call this AI websites. All right. So after creating that folder, it's going to open up in that folder for me. As you notice, it's trying to do that now. All right. So it's created the folder for me now. Seeing a question. Okay, I would answer all questions at the end of the call. Yeah. So it's going to ask me to trust the authors um, of this code. So I'm going to say yes, I trust the authors because I'm the author. So I'm good. Then I'm going to wait for it to load up a bit. So now on this app, you have the Explorer part where you have all your code section that will be created here. We have this agent part where we're going to be passing in instructions that would use to create the code. So I'm just waiting for it to load. Still loading. All right, so it's loaded now. So what do? I put in my PRD again and says create an Angular app for this PRD. Then for Gemini, Gemini is even much better because Gemini will tell you the steps it would take to create this website. So I can just say write down steps, the steps first, right? So if I do this, it's going to start thinking through the whole process, telling me what it would do. So if you notice, it says thinking for something seconds. Let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah, zoom in again. Good. So it's thinking, it's analyzing, it's doing a lot of stuff. Now it says thought process, writing down the thought process. Then to generate a file that I would use, right? Exactly. So it's generating a file that I would use to see what it's going to do, and if I'm okay with it, then I'll tell it to go ahead. If I'm not okay with it, then I'll make suggestions on how to change those stuff. Now imagine I am just starting this process now. This is 11:30. Let's see what happens. Can you see? So it says you need to set up design, initialize an Angular project, do all of this, then phase two core infrastructure, phase three, farmer portal, and all of this stuff, right? So now, um, all of this have been thought through, but I want to make a change, right? This is the task, right? I want to make a change. I do not want to build an Angular project anymore. I just want to make a change. So I would say instead of an Angular project, I want to build a Next.js project. Now, the reason for this is because Angular is a framework um, that we can use to build UIs. But Next.js is a framework that we can use to build both the UI and the backend together in one platform, right? So basically, I figured, oh, this would be the best solution for what we want to solve, right? So I'm changing the flow even without writing the code yet. If you notice, there's no code yet, right? So it's just syncing through the whole process and project replanning, Next.js, user requested to switch from Angular to Next.js. I am updating the implementation plan and database to reflect this change, prioritizing a premium design and React-based architecture. As you can see, it's changed the process, and um, now it wants to even start working, right? But it wouldn't just. So basically, some people think, oh, with AI, it's just going to take over your laptop and start working. No, it's not going to start working. It's also going to ask for your permission to do some certain things, right? So if you notice, it says it wants to run this code, and it says run command question mark, right? And I have to accept. If I accept it, it's going to start running the code. So when it starts running the code, all right, so it's running the code now. We'll start seeing changes happening here very soon. Now it's giving me information about things that's happening, and I do not need much of this information. Asking me to accept something else, so I'm going to accept that as well. It's generating. So saying that you could not create something. Let's see. Name can no longer contain capital letters. Okay, so you see that it's facing some issues, but it's trying to solve those issues itself. Previously, if I face an issue, I have to go and Google what's the problem, how do I solve it. So it's facing some issues and it's fixing those issues itself. It's saying that the name can no longer contain capital letters. So now I changed it to small letters, and you can see that there are changes that are happening here now. See, all of these files were created by the AI, by the model. We're using Gemini 3 Flash right now. It's creating all of this, and so still working, and so fast, so easy. Let me just go right in, and let me go into our app. For some of us who do not know what's happening, maybe because you've not seen code before now, it's easy to just use AI from beginning to end, although there's some risk with doing that. But then for some of us who have not seen code before now, and we're like, oh, what's all this? Where do I start from? You do not need to worry. That's why Skillforce is there to help us learn the basics of coding. Right? When you learn the basics of coding, all you need to do is now improve from there, and AI is there to assist you, right? But basically, this is pretty straightforward. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into this part to see some of the code that was created. As you can see, very very straightforward, right? Um, then layouts, right? See, all of this code were created for us by the AI. And if you notice, it's still working, right? It's still working. I'm just going to give it time to complete everything I want to do. Then once it's done, we can test it out and then see if we can change a few things before we try to deploy. All right. So it's still generating stuff. It's still, creating code for us. Let's see how much code it's going to create. So now it's finding some errors. As you can see, it's showing all of these red lines to say there are errors and there are issues with this code and all of that stuff. But you do not want to be alarmed. It's going to fix it for you, but just allow it to take its time to write all of the code that I want to write. It's still generating code. And remember, we started at 11:30. This is just 9 minutes in, and we have all of this code already. Oh, don't worry. At the end of this call, this video will be on YouTube, so you can go back to watch it as many times as you want, right? And also, at the end of this call, there's going to be another video that we're going to give to those who were able to watch the call. So we can do that by asking. We do that by asking for your emails, right? Uh, how do we do this now? We need to get your emails, right? So that we can send you the other video that we have, right? So, but when the time comes, I'll ask for your emails. So it's still loading, still taking time. It's writing stuff. So we're just going to give it some time to do all of this. I think the end goal is to see what it looks like, right? So let's just hold up a bit for the codes to run through. So you might say, "Oh, it's taking time. It's taking time." Now, imagine if I have to write all of this code myself. How long it's going to take, right? So it's still going to look through all the code, look through the solution, find out what it needs. Remember, I gave it a whole bunch of product requirement documents. Still going to look at the product requirement documents, compare everything before it comes up with this code. So while this is happening, so that we do not take too much time waiting for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize this a bit. Then we're going to talk about AI in 2026. So I use Gemini sometimes. I also use ChatGPT at other times, right? So I use a lot of these AI tools. Do not restrict yourself to one of them because they all have like where they are strong and where they are weak, right? ChatGPT can create like PowerPoint slides for you and PDF. The same thing with Gemini, um, but Gemini can create images for you. You know, Gemini can create Excel sheets for you. I don't think ChatGPT can. DeepSeek is very good with coding. They all have their different strengths. So you just figure out which one you want to use for a particular tool. But right now, for this, I'm going to be using Gemini. So AI and tech in 2026, right? So let's see what's going to happen with AI and tech in 2026, and then we would now talk a bit about it while our app is building. And that also goes to show you how important it is to use AI in 2026, because now I just ignored the app to build what I needed it to build because I have my product requirement document. I have everything that I wanted to build in that document. And I'm telling it, just build it for me. And it's building it behind the scenes while I'm doing other things. When it's done, I can go back to it and say, okay, change this, right? So, but let's come back here. So, as stand at the end of 2025, 2026 is shaping up to be the year where AI stops being a feature and start being an autonomous teammate, right? So, it's a teammate right now for me. It's not just a feature where we go, we do something, come out. It's not a teammate. It's working for me behind the scenes, right? This industry is shifting focus from chatbots that talk to agents that act and from cloud dependent models to physical embodied intelligence. There are times where you just, on your PC, you just create an agent that does things for you, right? I have a boss that does a lot of things on his PC using scripts and agents and bots. right? So it doesn't need to do a lot. Um, let's see what the information I want. Let's see. So 2026 marks the big bang. Basically, this information I'm bringing is just something I brought up. It's not something that I prepared before now. I just want to point out what 2026 is looking like for a lot of us, especially those who are thinking or who have been thinking since 2024 or 2025. I want to go into I want to go into tech, right? But I don't know how to. I don't know how to. This is the time, right? Because it's easier now more than ever, especially with AI, right? So 2026 marks the big bang for general purpose robotics. The AI models are powered, text and images have been adapted to physical AI, allowing robots to learn tasks by watching videos rather than being manually programmed. Um, we have AI in different aspects of our lives today. Companies like Tesla and Agility Robotics are targeting large scale production, right, with AI for use in warehouse and automotive factories. Um, now we have like nuclear pivots. Um, I'm not sure what I want to talk about on this. But now, societal and ethical shifts. Right? Now, what I want to talk about on this is how a lot of persons are now bringing AI into the societies, right? And what it means, right? So, predictive health. We have wearables like smart ring or wristwatches that now provide daily health snapshots, shifting medicine from reactive treatments to preventative maintenance. So we have wristwatch that can check your heart rate and based on changes in your heart rate can predict that something else is going to happen so that instead of you waiting until that stuff happens, you're preventing it, right? We have post quantum security, um, secure devices, secure homes where you have Internet of Things, you have your homes connected to the internet, you have more secure homes with AI, learning and growing, right? So there are a lot of things to do with AI in 2026, and this is a time to jump on the bandwagon. Come to Skillforth. Let's train you on how to build softwares and solutions that would, push you into the future where you learn a lot. Tomorrow we have a call with two of our alumni, where you'd hear from them on their benefits. One was from our cohort two, the other one was from our cohort three. They will tell you about the benefits of learning with Skillforce and stuff that they can advise you on, right? So just join in tomorrow by 11:30, and you'll see a lot more on this. All right, so let's go back to our code to see where we are. So it's telling me to accept a few things now. Um, so I'm accepting it, and accepting all of these changes. All right, so you see that those times where there were like errors, it's fixing all of those errors, right? And it's still building. I guess maybe I didn't know. Must have asked me for um asked me to accept those stuff earlier on, and I didn't know. But it's creating stuff, buttons, cards, navbar, and all of this beautiful stuff, right? I We're about 47 minutes into the call now. Taking a lot more time than I wanted. I guess maybe because of all of the conversations that we've had, right? I probably should have just jumped right into the programming, right? But um, I guess we I guess we have to talk about a lot of things, right? It's not so easy to. I think it's trying to start up the application now. Okay, so I think it's trying to start up the application and it's getting some issues. So yeah, npm run dev, I guess. npm run. Okay, so it's starting up the application, but let's see. Okay, so I guess what it's doing right now is trying to start up the application to make sure that there are no errors, right? And we're good, right? So I guess we're good now, but it still needs to. Anti-gravity would like to use the browser. So it wants to check up, wants to create the stuff on the browser. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop it from I'm going to stop it from doing all of those things. Let me do it manually. I'll accept all. I'm going to accept everything that is done so far. Um, and then just npm run dev, which is the command it's using to start up the application, right? And that's because that's been configured into our package.json here. Let me see. Yeah, so dev here. npm run dev. So I can either start it with next dev or npm run dev. So I'm going to start with npm run dev. And we have a lot of errors. Okay, so I guess it wasn't functional. Let me see. We have our node modules. Mm, could not read package adjacent. Okay, I guess I'm not inside the app itself. Yeah, so I wasn't inside the app itself. So now I'm going to go into the app itself. All right. And now it's starting port 3000 is already in use. So I guess it didn't close the port 3000 I was in use then. Da, 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 da. Starting unable to acquire this lock is another instance of dev running. So it's already running here, and I need to close it. I need to stop it. How do I stop it? No, it's let's dev lock. Let me see. Let me just tell it to stop. Instance running at port 3000. So I'm just going to tell it to stop it. Let's see. So it's syncing through my instruction, sending termination requests. Okay. So the thing is, sometimes stuff that are um, simple to carry out, it's still going to sync through them. That's a downside, right? Basically, if I wanted to stop this, I probably would shut down the browser or go into all instances that are running and stop them. But it's still going to sync through the process and do that for me. And I think it's done. Right. So I think we're good. So let me start it up again. It's still in use. Unable to acquire. Blah, 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 blah. So it's another instance of next step running. Suggestion if you intended to restart next step, terminate the open and then try again. So I need to terminate the other process. And let me see. I'm going to close down the browser and start it again and see if that fixes it. So I guess that is because I did not allow it to open up on the browser. I just stopped the process. It also did not stop the process I was running internally. So now I have to stop it manually um, by looking for that instance. I don't need to restart my PC. Um, I guess what I'll do is tell it to run through the process. Okay, it's coming up now. Okay. So I think we should start getting emails for those who were on the call. Okay. We'll try it one more time. How do we get these emails now? Okay, just drop your emails on the chat box so that we can send you the full video or the full course that you're going to need after the call. Right? Just drop your email. Somebody will extract those emails so that we do not delay ourselves with that after the call. Let me run this again. Hopefully, still. So let's just drop our emails on the chat if you want the full video. Okay, I think we're good now. We're good now. All right, awesome. So I'm going to get, let me get this IP address. Then copy it. Now we're going to browser. Let's see what we've built so far. So we're going to the URL and we're going to load up what we've built so far. It's loading it up and it's taking a bit of time, but let's just let's be patient. Remember, nothing was given to us. We just had an idea. We went to Gemini, we created a product requirement document, we reviewed it, we didn't change anything. We went to anti-gravity and we passed the instruction to. Oh, okay. I guess it's taking time because I'm trying to connect to it over the internet using this IP address, right? But yeah, yeah, we are. So it's not looking so fine, but this is what we've built, right? And what I'm going to do is instead of connecting over the internet, I'm going to switch to connecting using the local host. And it's not looking so fine, like I said, but it's something. After like 20 minutes of thinking, that's what came up with. But remember, we didn't do anything. So I'm going to use local host and not connect over the internet. But if I pass that other URL for you to check on your end, you should be able to see this website. Let me. I'm going to pass it. Uh, how do I pass it now? I'm just. Let me post it here. HTTPS. Sorry. HTTPS colon slash 172.20.10.10 colon 3000. All right. So if you want to follow along while I'm building, you can check through that it's not HTTPS, it's actually HTTP. Can't delete it. So it's not HTTPS, it's actually HTTP, right? Um, so you can check that URL, but remove the S, right? And that should give you the website. So basically, this is what we have right now, and it's not so fine. So what I want to do is just um, pass another command, tweak the UI a bit to look arranged. Right, so I'm going to pass this command to the UI a bit to look arranged, and I am going to allow it um, do a few things. Let's see what it's going to do. Um, so it's analyzing the pages, the TypeScript page, the CSS page, and all of these other pages, right? And after analyzing, it's going to now start updating the UI, right, to look much more better. So let's see what's going to happen when we do this. No emails were dropped. Okay, so it created a plan first. I don't need to go through the plan. I'm just going to tell it to implement it. So it's generating it. While that is happening, this is where you can get anti-gravity from. So go to anti-gravity download, and go to antigravity.google, right? Right. So you can download the app from here, um, and use it to build whatever you want to build. Okay, let's see what changed. Is it still working? All right, so it changed a few things. Let's see what it looks like on the UI. Okay, so now after changing a few things, there's an issue. So we need to fix that issue. Uh, Navbar is not defined. Let's see. You can check the edited. So there's an issue here. It says navbar is not defined, and that's probably because navbar was not created. Button is also looking like it's not defined. Let's see. There's navbar here. Let's see. There's button here. So um, I think he just needs to input it the right way. Yeah, so import navbar. Okay, SARS no default hotspots. Let me see. Wait, it does. It does. Yes. Response comes. Okay. So you know what? I'm going to just because of time, tell the AI to fix it. I just want it to look much more better. Then we will go from there. I didn't see any emails coming in. It's like you guys don't want the full course. Okay. Still not looking like I want it to look. Still not looking like I want it to look. So what would happen is it's supposed to take me some time to arrange it where I want it to look, probably get some UIs and all that stuff, but we do not have that much time on this call. Already past the hour mark. So but let's wait to see what's still building up, cooking up, still generating stuff. Okay, still generating stuff on the CSS part, but it's supposed to look different. So I'm reloading it and it's still the same. Change, close this. Minimize this. Where did you drop it? So I guess we should start answering questions now, but I actually wanted the UI to be done first. Um, I'm seeing a lot of questions about the server side, the backend, and all that stuff. Okay, let's see what we have here. This is actually a beautiful UI. I'm confused as to why it's not able to arrange itself. If I had all the time in the world, I probably would have been able to do that. But let's see if there's a problem with the catching system. I say it's still the same thing. All right. All right. So no problem. We're going to be answering some questions now, and then hopefully when um, before the end of the day, I'll probably work on it and then post it and show it to you guys. Um, let's see. Let's Let me pass in one last command. Let's use tailwind and have a build build section. And, okay, so while this is happening, I'm going to be answering some questions. All right, so let's go over to the questions parts and see questions that we're going to be answering. All right, so we have comments from active and giving to what's new here. Okay, we have the count times too many. Can Okay, so these are comments. Eagerly waiting. Let's go. VTE websites. What do you mean by VTE websites? Oh, that's what you wanted us to build. VTE websites. Okay, what does that mean? I'm not sure what that means. But okay, that's fine. Sorry, I didn't see that in time. We're following. Yes, we are just joining. Hi. So how can we get the documents? So it's what we have for you is not a document, it's a video. Um, I don't know if I can show the video. Let me see. I probably can. I probably can. Let's show it a bit. It's a 3 hour video. Uh, let's, let me try and get the video out. Show us the video for a bit. So it's a video that I saw somewhere and I noticed that going to help us benefit. It's going to help us benefit from this. Hold on. Trying to look for the video right now. Just can't find it. Can't seem to find it. Anyways, I'd look for it later on. Can't seem to find it. So we have the video. Like I said, if you drop your email to show that you participated on this call, we're going to share the video with you. It's on Google Drive, so we're going to share it with you on Google Drive. Um, so we have, let's see. Okay, yeah, like I said, it's on YouTube, so you can always come back to watch it. Will it still sort out API integration aspects? Yes. So basically, right, I was hoping that we have a new, and that's another reason why I decided to use Next.js, right? I was hoping that we have like a perfect UI. Then I could work on, then I could work on um, the backend, uh, I could tell it, okay, work on this backend using MongoDB as my database, or work on this backend using SQL as my big database. I could do that using Next.js. Or another thing I can do is use maybe Angular or React separately, and then build my backend separately, probably using Node.js or Python, Django, or .NET. Now, once I use any of this, I can get my Open API JSON file and then populate it inside of this chat box and tell it to integrate. Basically, since I have the Open API, it gives us the base URL, gives us the endpoints, the request and the response, right? And then it knows how to integrate it. It's that smart. So you can do any of this using anti-gravity. You can also use cursor, right? I use cursor sometimes. You can use any of those. Even Copilot right now does the same thing. Um, Copilot is trying its best to do the same thing. Um, so you can use any of those tools to do what you want to do. Food safety monitoring tool. I guess you mean something that we should have built. Sorry, I didn't say all of this at the time, but it's something that you can attempt to. Just get the tools, try working on it, and see what you can come up with. All you need to do is just pass in the command that you want, and you should uh, get it sorted. You can also read the comments to see, oh, okay, what's happening here, what's happening here. Changes that are being made, right? Uh, I thought this can only work if we're on the same network. Oh yes, yes, surely. Right. I was supposed to deploy it on Netlify and then give you the either the IP address or the URL that was created. Right. Um, but we do not have the time, right, to do it. I kind of just wanted to try this out on your own. But yes, that's correct. Um, what other questions do we have? Let's see. How do we do the back end? That's another question. How do we do the back end? Like I kind of just explained that. Right. I'm still like hoping that the I'm still like hoping that the UI would look better, so I can just show you briefly what's. I think this is done. Okay. So it's still making changes. It's just not understanding itself. Like, and it's all leaning to the left. Right? I wish I had the time on this call to make all of these changes, but I'll still work on it and then drop it in the group, right? So still making changes. But if I wanted to do a backend for this, right? Well, let me see. Let me go to the sign. The buttons, the routing is not working yet, so I also need to work on the routing. The routing is not working yet. All right. So what I'll do is something like this. Um, I want you to create um, the business logic for the different functions, right? So if I pass in this information, right, basically, remember we have our PRD up there somewhere. If we don't have it because I started, we can pass the PRD again. Then it knows what the business logic is. It knows that okay, when I click on start selling, it's supposed to go to a page where we have like the sellers or the buyers and stuff like that. Right? It knows all of these things. So that would help us with the backend, and that's why I use Next.js. I really do not use Next.js like coding. I use Angular and .NET, right? So, but if I was to be doing that Angular and .NET, after creating the UI with Angular, I'll create the backend also. Using all of this, using anti-gravity, I'll create the backend also, get the open API JSON file, and then use that for the integration. Sir, I have dropped my email. I'm not sure where you guys are dropping it, but I hope you're, I hope we have access to it. Maybe it's in the group chat. Maybe that's where you're dropping it. I hope that's where you're dropping it. I've dropped mine. Okay. What about creating UI before writing the code? So when you say creating UI before writing the code, I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean creating the UI yourself before writing a code, right? Like maybe use user interface, user experience kind of. Yeah, if that's the case, you can do that as well. You can also upload your UI images and tell it, oh, I want you to build the UI to look like this, right? You can do that as well. That's pretty fine, right? You can create your UI. So if you do not have a UI in mind, then you can just tell it to build something for you, right? And then tweak it as you go. But if you have a UI in mind, you can just upload your UI on the chat and then tell it to mimic that. Yes, definitely. You still need to review the code, right? Because sometimes AI tends to write stuff that could break your code, right? Um, it's just because I'm on this call, that's why I am not taking all those steps, right? But you still need to review the code to make sure things are in the right places. Sometimes there's some contents that you just need to change quickly. You don't need to tell AI, oh, change it. No, you don't need to do that. You can just change it immediately. So, yes, definitely. You still need to review the code from time to time. Yeah, I think I mentioned this. We can use Copilot as well in VS Code. It's just that the problem, although um, with the release of um, um, .NET 10, Copilot has been integrated more into VS and VS Code, but I'm not sure it's as much as Cursor or Anti Gravity. Right? I'm not sure it's as much, but we're still there. We're still moving forward. I'm a .NET developer, so it's my thing. We're still moving forward, and we're still trying to build with it. So when I build with VS Code or VS, I use Copilot, right? But when I'm using when I want to go like in depth, especially because of the free mode, I can use anti gravity or tossing. So that's just the difference. I have another question. So, what's the difference between front end and back coding? Thank you for that question. That's a very good one. Right. So, if you notice when I showed you skill focuses, we have front end. Let's see. We have front end development. We also have .NET development, Python development. These are back end developments. But for this year, we're touching just .NET. So what's the difference? Now the difference is this. The difference is this UI is a front end, right? Now if I try to log in, if I try to log in, whatever is happening right now is being done by the backend. So it's taking some time, it's thinking through, is this person the owner of this account? Is this password correct? It's doing all of those things. It's being done by the backend. Now, sometimes the front end and the backend are in two different locations, right? I can deploy the front end in one location and deploy the backend in another location, and they both communicate to create one simple software, right? But other times they can be in the same location, like the Next.js I was trying to build. You can have the front end and the back end in the same location. But based on what the name is implying, the front end and the back end are softwares that come together to build to form one simple solution, right? The front end is what you can see, the back end is what you cannot see, right? I'm not sure why it's taking time to log in, but that's basically what it is. The front end is what you can see, the back end. And another thing is this, right? You know, uh, one thing that helps with the backend is called APIs, Application Programming Interface. And the reason why you can use your YouTube on the reason why you can use your YouTube on your laptop as well as your mobile phone is because of you're using just one backend, right? So it now makes it easy for you to see the same item on the laptop and on the mobile app or even in your phone, right? Can we still see me? Am I still Okay, yeah, I think we can still see me. Okay, great. So it's because we're using just one backend, right? So that's just how it works. I would need to figure out why this is not signing in. I need to figure out why that's not signing in. But that's the difference between front end and backend. Um, the next question is: would you say it's logical if we could just tell the AI to comment different sections in the code so we can understand what each part means? Um, well, that's possible, but then you're going to spend a lot of time trying to understand what they mean. You understand? You still need to know the basics of coding. You still need to know the basics of coding, right? You can't just comment, you can't just say, oh, check this part. Now, imagine if, let me go back to the code. Now, imagine of all this code. Now, imagine if I go into this part and says, check, tell me what this part is doing. And then I go into here, tell me what this part is doing. Like, it's going to take a lot of time, right? So, you still need to know the basics of coding. You need to understand what happens when I do export defaults, right? You need to understand why there's a div here and why there's so many other divs here. You need to understand all of these things so that when you see it, you're like, oh, okay, that's what it means. Then all your concern is just make sure that everything is fine because you understand what's happening. So it's logical. It's not really logical. It's possible, but not logical. I guess that's the answer to your question. It's possible, but not logical. All right. Uh, so where can we drop our mail to get the recording? I'm not sure where the rest. Okay, okay. Yeah, I think so. Send it to Ms. Chinaza or Charles privately. You can send it to any of these persons. So those admins that you have on the group, just send it to them privately. Right. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm going to work on this. This looks like something very interesting to work on. I'm going to work on it and show you how it's going while it's going. Right. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining the call today. It was really nice working with every one of us. Remember, we have our alumni call tomorrow by 11:30 a.m. You can join that to see how some of our students are doing in the real world and how much they've progressed in just a short amount of time. Some, I think one of them is 2 years, the other one is 3 years. How they've progressed in such a short amount of time, right? And I think we have good news for anybody who's joining, and so we'd love for everyone to join. Thank you so much again, and do have a lovely rest of the day. Oh, we have two more comments. All right, I'm going to answer this, and then that's fine. Can coding be done on mobile phone using Gemini? It's possible, not advisable. Right? It's possible because yes, it's all you need is like internet and you can code, right? Not advisable because you know imagine working with such a small device, right? You won't be able to really function out really. So you need a very good device. That device, sometimes even a secondary screen, for you to be able to do a lot, right? So not advisable, it's possible. All right, that's it for me. Bye for now. Bye everyone.